We're live. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. Tonight I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Miss G, Georgette Truen. Hello, Miss G. How are you?
Just dandy.
And Miss Cassandra. How are you? And we're also joined by a special guest,
I'm good.
Mr. James. Mr. James. How are you, Mr. James?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Good. So, Miss G, I received a message from you today that we have a guest tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, James is on with us right now. His story is interesting. He was with us before, and he has a couple of questions he would like to ask you on the show, if you don't mind,
No, not at all. What's going
about
on?
his case. Um,
So,
James, go
uh,
ahead, honey. You have the floor.
so right now I'm having an issue of everybody. A mother is deliberately lying, making false allegations where there's no proof, and yet I have to go through protocol. Like I had to get time away from my children because they need to investigate and such, only to deem it inconclusive. There's no evidence of it. There's nothing. It's just me going through protocol. But yet, when I state that in the beginning, it's just mother deliberately lying. They don't care if I'm saying anything. They don't care about my concerns. And I don't understand how I'm not coming at them disrespectful. I'm just letting them know what's going on, how my children's safety is going on. And how do I phrase my questions so they can just hear me out at least, or look into the matter, because there's been plenty of times where it's been one-sided here, completely one-sided, and I do not get the time of day from anybody.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
DCFS, my caseworkers, um, basically just the DCFS department.
Let me ask you something, James, and I don't want to be flippant, but do you expect people to be fair with you in this process?
Oh no, not at all. I come into this whole case thinking I'm just the bad guy already, because that's how everybody treats me.
Do you have an attorney that you're working with?
At the moment, no. My last attorney did not want to walk a matter on where mother is now calling my children 3 times a week for 15 minutes, and now takes it upon herself to be under the influence. I don't. I took this matter to my CSW. She says that she spoke to mother, but she continues to call under the influence. I took it to my attorney, and my attorney told me straight out it's too much for work for him to walk the matter on, and I'm just stuck here, just having to expose my children to this because no one
Are
will
your
hear me out.
are your children placed with you?
Right now, we are 1 week with me, 1 week with mother, home of parent. There's no percentage put into place. There's no anything else. Just says home of parent.
Okay, well, if it's 1 week on and 1 week off, that's a 50-50.
It shouldn't be like that though. I know I understand the concept of mother being involved, but I finished my court orders in 6 to 7 months. Mother still has not. We're in this position because of her mental health, and no one is ever like bringing that to anybody's attention that mother has not joined therapy. We have not touched mother's mental health. I'm being charged with failure to protect because I let a mentally ill person unlimited access to my children. How am I still being charged with that if we're not going to talk about the mental health?
When's your next court hearing?
January 31st.
What
My
type of hearing?
18-month review. And I don't know who my attorney is right now.
Okay, so it can't be an 18-month review if the children are placed with one or both parents.
It's what on the calendar it says 18-month review
On what calendar?
on the court's calendar, where it's at Edelman. Basically, just lets us
Don't
know what's
say
going
that
on.
word, James.
Okay, well, you've seen the calendar for January in someplace?
I was given one before my. I was given a screenshot before my attorney dropped me.
Okay. Well, if the kids are placed with you and with the mother, it can't be an 18-month review. It has to be what's called a 364 review. And that's a
Okay.
6-month review every 6 months when the kids are placed with the parent or parents?
We just got custody. Well, we just got this order November 1st is when they came home. And that's when it's all started. But yeah, I'll look into that.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you should do, okay?
Okay.
And here's the, I guess, the hardest concept to realize. And that is, you are expecting people to care and to listen to you. They neither care nor do they want to listen to you. So it's like you're beating a drum and you're just pissing people off.
Mhm.
Okay, so you know, I live in the San Gabriel Valley of Los Angeles County, and I want to go to the airport tonight. You know, there's a lot of different ways I can get there.
Mhm.
I could call a cab. I could ride an Uber. I could ride my bike. I could ride a motorcycle. I could go in a Honda Civic. I could go in a Rolls Royce. I could take the bus. Many ways to get to the airport. Same thing for you, James. Many ways to get what you want. But you keep beating that same drum and it ain't working. And the only thing that's happening is you're getting frustrated because nobody's listening to you beat the drums. You got to go a different way. You know, one of the things I want you to understand, I was telling this to a guy today. You can't make these people do something that you want. You beating that drum louder isn't going to make them do anything. You know, you got to figure out, oh, there must be a different way. So I'm going to tell you the different ways, okay? Now, just so that we're specific, because, you know, you're asking me a legal question and I'm a lawyer, tell me in one sentence, what is it that you want to do?
I would like to get sole custody. I worry about my daughter's safeties when they're with their mother because of recent events.
Okay. And would you like to have the mother have monitored or unmonitored visits?
When she was on monitored visits, she still got away with a lot.
No, James.
Don't worry about her, James. Just listen.
James,
Yeah, I heard her.
okay, I asked you a question.
Yes, monitored visits.
Okay. I got Miss G in training. She now sees how things are operating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number one, you have to file a 388 petition, James. And you have to ask for sole custody and monitored visitations for the children.
But
That's
how do I ask for that if I need an attorney when I don't have one? They haven't told me who my appointed attorney is.
well, that's a very good question. It's probably the same law firm that represented you before, so you should call them, ask to speak to a supervisor, or you get your own attorney. But I'm going to tell you what you need to do. How you do it, that's a whole nother discussion.
Mhm.
So let's just get through the list, okay? Number one, file a 388. Remember, I always tell people, if the social worker won't do what you want, do not keep asking her to do it. She ain't gonna do it. You're only pissing her off. You need to get it in front of the judge. In this particular situation, okay, the way you get it in front of the judge is file a 388. Okay? Now, I'm going to preface all of this by saying what I'm telling you, you should discuss with your attorney. Because I haven't reviewed your case.
Mhm.
I haven't looked at your chart. But I'm giving you a diagnosis and a treatment plan. So, you know, I might be talking out, you know, out of my head because I don't know all the details.
Mhm.
That's right. But I'm going to tell you generally what you can do. Number two, you should file a complaint with the Department of Health and Human Services against the social workers who are not doing or not paying attention to you. Because what's going to happen is if these kids get, you know, people fool around, these kids get hurt. it's going to be too late. Does this kind of stuff happen all the time?
Mhm.
You are dealing with governmental employees who you think care. Okay? Listen, if you listen to Miss G, they're evil, or they're just overworked and underpaid. Okay?
Jimmy, I mean, James, listen to me. He understands.
Okay. Number 3, you should file a complaint with the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Number 4, you should file a complaint with the Department of Social Services in California in Sacramento.
Mhm.
Note, I haven't told you, and I'm not going to tell you, to file a complaint with DCFS. Because in my personal and professional experience, that not only will probably backfire against you, but nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. Now, there is provision in the California Welfare and Institutions Code. By the way, this is number 5. All right. There's a provision where you can file a pleading with the court requesting that the court order the social worker to file a case against the mother or against the other parent. In this case, it's the mother.
How so?
What do you mean?
How does this work? What's the?
Well, remember, whoa. You remember I said we're going to talk about what you can do. How is a whole nother question.
Okay. So what's the name of what I need to ask the court to do?
You're gonna talk to your attorney and you're gonna get the form to request the judge to order the social worker to file a case of neglect or abuse against the mother. It's actually right in the Welfare and Institutions Code. I forget the section offhand because, as you might imagine, it's rarely used. But you asked me what you could do, so I'm telling you. Okay?
Got it.
All right. The next thing you can do with your attorney's assistance, this is number 6, is you can write a report or a letter to the minor's attorney, reporting everything, putting that person on notice that we have a problem. And you don't have to say this, but they'll figure it out. They're smart people. That if something does happen, they might be in big, under the looking glass. And nobody wants to be under the looking glass in these types of situations when kids get hurt.
Mhm.
Okay? So those are 6 things you can do. Have you started, before we discuss this, have you done any of those?
Yes, I've tried going for a 388 because I worried how mother has been calling my children for a video call under the influence, and it's obvious. I given my proof of evidence to my CSW. She
No. I didn't.
I know.
Why are we talking about the CSW? I didn't talk about the CSW.
I know. So the first time I did it,
did you file a 388? Did you file a 388?
I tried to, but that's when my attorney said that's too much work for him, and he then dropped me.
Stop. Okay, stop. All right. Your attorney told you that. Are they supposed to tell you that? No.
Not at all.
Do they tell you that? Yeah. So what do you got to do? What do you do after that, James?
Call the supervisor of the department or
No. James, I never mentioned calling the social worker or the supervisor. Did I? I gave you 7 things to do. So why are you telling me this?
Because you just said that if I needed to check my attorney to call the place that appointed me the attorney and ask for a supervisor.
No. I never said that. First of all, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Social workers don't appoint your attorneys.
I know. Yes, I know.
The judge appoints you an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, if you don't like your attorney, you fire him or her and you get a new attorney. Now, there is a way, I have a video on this on the YouTube channel, how to get a new court-appointed attorney, and it's called the Marsden hearing.
Mhm.
Okay,
I've had two
number
already.
that's the first way. Number two, hire your own attorney. Okay, so
Yeah.
those are the things that you do. Now, whether they work or not, whether they get you to the result that you want, I can't guarantee that because I don't know if you're going to do it the right way. All right, I'm just telling you what you can do.
Mhm. Mhm.
How, that's an hour conversation on each one of those things, and that's a
Yeah.
7-hour conversation. This is a 45-minute show. Okay, so those are the things, and if you talk to your attorney or your attorney's law firm, you know um, I'm going to assume that they will try to help you. I may be wrong. I saw Miss G's reaction. Yeah, Miss G, I may be wrong about that.
Hmm.
Okay,
You are.
but he's got to do something, right? Nobody else can do it for him. They're his kids. Obviously, you can't make the social worker do anything. He's tried. He's talked to. He's blue in the face, right?
I'm currently now being ignored by my attorney's firm, DCFS, and basically everybody involved. I'm being shut out for some reason because I don't know.
Well, I can tell you. You want me to tell you? I'll be brutally honest with you.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, I'll tell you. Look, I've been doing this 36 years
Hmm.
as a lawyer, and then I think 33 years as doing juvenile dependency cases. Right?
Hmm.
It is my opinion, and I may be wrong, but it's my opinion that you are what's known as a thorn in people's ass. You're a pebble in somebody's shoe. And people aren't going to gravitate to you to try to help you. I mean, look,
Hmm.
in your family and your friends and your work, you've seen these people. Okay. And what do? You shun them, you ignore them. Now, unfortunately, we happen to be talking about the lives and safety of children. Now, I'm not saying it's right. Don't get me wrong. I'm just telling you what I think is happening. And if that's happening, you got to take matters in your own hands, get your own lawyer. All right? You are in one of the largest metropolitan areas in the country. All right?
Hmm.
There's more CPS attorneys in this area than anywhere probably in the United States. So I don't know how many lawyers you've called, but until you called 50 and they all said no, we don't have anything really to talk about. So start dialing, start Googling, find
Yeah,
somebody, find
I've,
somebody.
I've I've been I've done all that. I get a lot of the same answers.
Which
It's
is
just it's not feasible on my end. It's quite expensive, and it's just me by myself doing this.
no family, no friends.
Not because of mother interactions. No, no,
Because
no.
what?
Because of mother interactions towards my friends who I thought they were friends. No, I don't have any friends. I don't have any family anymore. I don't have anything.
What do you think, Miss G? What can we do?
That's what I wanted to talk to you about today.
Hmm.
Well, after the show, I honestly believe, well, I don't want to tell you on the show. I would
Okay.
rather talk
Well,
about it after the show, if you don't mind.
okay.
But James and I have been communicating via text message for a while now, right, James? And
Yeah.
I guess when he needs a therapist, he contacts me, right, James? But he is going through a lot. And honestly, I believe in his case. I believe he is innocent. And there's reasons why I believe he's innocent. And he pretty much turned him against all his family and friends. And she's
Well,
dangerous.
wait. I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
The ex, the mother, turned him against his family and friends. Like literally, she separated him from everything that's close to him. And some people think I'm pro moms only, but that's not true. I'm pro the innocent parent. I'm not saying all parents are innocent. I'm just saying, you know, when I believe in someone, I really do, and there's a reason for it. Just like I told you about Cassandra, I feel the same way about James.
Miss Cassandra Woodard, what do you think we can do for James? Let me unmute Miss Cassandra Woodard.
If Miss G feels that way about that, I feel the same way about him. Unmuted.
Okay, Miss G,
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
loud and clear, Miss Woodard. All right. So
I said if Miss G,
I didn't hear you, baby. You're cutting in and out. What happened to your Wi-Fi again? Cassandra was doing good. Cassandra.
it's
James,
because I
you
got
have
muted again. Somebody
No, you're
muted
cutting in
me
and out.
again.
Okay, what were you saying?
Anyways, feel that way about him, then I feel that way about him.
okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. All right. Can you set up an appointment for me to talk to James tomorrow?
Yes, and the kids do need to be saved, Mr. Davis. Believe me, they do.
James, what city do you live in?
LA County.
I'm not too far from you.
Okay.
A city over.
Oh, okay. You're close.
Mhm.
So if we needed to meet in my office, you could do that.
Mhm.
I can be there right now.
That's how good he is, Davis. He's a good dad. Very good dad.
Only thing, I'm not in the office right now.
But that's how committed he is. So,
Okay.
James,
I
I will
get
make
it.
it happen.
I get it. Okay. So James, Miss G is going to set up a meeting for us tomorrow.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be in person. It can be. It can be Zoom. It can be telephone.
Sure.
And
Zoom is good, James, if you want.
Sure. I can do whatever. I can do anything.
okay. All right. And when is your next court hearing?
January 31st, where it's set on the calendar was a review hearing, but
Okay.
you said what was it,
364.
364.
Hey, are you allowed to record the visits that mom has when she calls your home?
Well, they're over talking parent, so they're already recorded. I was forced to get the highest tier because with talking parent, there's two tiers, 10.99 and 24.99. And on top of that, you have to pay for your own minutes to talk to your own kids. So I paid for 100 minutes, and I did the highest tier. So we have our conversations, our video calls, all recorded and dated and everything.
Okay. Go
But
ahead.
there's something, James, I need to mention to Attorney Davis, if I may. The workers are protecting the mother because she doesn't have papers, and they told James that they're protecting her. So basically, they're protecting her because they don't want to send her back.
That has nothing to do with sending her back or not sending her back.
Yeah, well, that's why I said it's best for you to talk to James better.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's obvious that they sided with mother and don't care to help me whatsoever.
Hey, James, I want to tell you something that I learned several years ago from a guy named Jerry Spence. You ever heard that name?
No.
So after we get off the stream today, I want you to Google Gerry, second word Spence, Spence. Okay.
Got it.
He was a mentor of mine. He founded something called the Trial Lawyers College. Jerry is considered, he's in I think 90s now, but was considered one of the greatest trial lawyers of our country. All right. As a matter of fact, many years ago, I was taking a class. Lawyers have to take these what they call mandatory continuing education classes, and I was taking one at Loyola High School. Excuse me, not Loyola High School, Loyola Marymount Law School. And I was sitting in a big, maybe 100-seat classroom, and I was about 4 rows from the front. And in front of me, teaching that course, was a guy by the name of Johnny Cochran. You ever heard that name?
Yep.
O.J. Simpson fame, right? Well, someone asked him during the class, and the class wasn't about this, but they asked him, they said, who do you think is the best trial lawyer in this country? A lot of us thought he was going to say himself, right? He said, well, there's this guy in Wyoming by the name of Spence. And he said, Spence is probably the greatest trial lawyer I've ever seen. Johnny Cochran said that.
Mhm.
Years later, I ended up going to almost a month-long trial lawyers college that Spence founded. And I was lucky, then they break you into small groups, right? And then there's the large groups that meet together, and then the small groups. Well, just by the luck of the draw, I was in Jerry's small group. There's about 8 of us.
Mhm.
So I got to work with him very closely. And one of the things that he told me, which I'll never forget, was sometimes when you're in a courtroom, for many different reasons, people like you and dislike you. And here's the thing, he told me. He says, the mistake, if you're the person that's not liked, is for you to fight against it. Isn't that interesting?
I can see why you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. And instead, he said, you must love and hug those people even more. Now, let me tell you something. I bet you and Miss G and Miss Woodard, you all know that. Do you do it? Nope.
I love you, Mr. Davis.
Hey, James, I talked to a young guy today, and, he was losing his CPS case, and everything out of his mouth was fuck them, and I ain't doing shit, and, fuck that judge, and blah, blah, blah. And finally I told him, I said, and I was trying to talk to him the whole time. And, finally I said to him, man, I may not be the right guy for you. The next thing I know, I'm talking to Mr. Dial Tone.
Mm-hmm.
I text him a long text. He texted me back and said, I don't need any lectures.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he must have been 30, if that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 64. I'm trying to give him some knowledge. He's not ready to accept it.
He's an idiot.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to tell you, I think is probably the most important thing in your case. When these people don't like you, you don't embrace it. Like Jerry said, you're not loving them more.
Listen to that, James, very carefully.
I know. I hear it. It's just hard to do so when.
Whoa. We're not talking about hard.
Nope. I'm not talking about that, baby.
That's an
I
inner issue, an inner problem.
Mhm.
And I see you. I'm watching you on the screen. You're a young man.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't put on the years, and there's some shit you just don't know yet.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now, I can tell you things. Whether you're ready, just like the guy on the phone, I don't know. I don't know. But the first thing I'm going to tell you is if you're not getting what you want and they hate you, embrace them and love them more.
Hmm.
I didn't come up with that strategy in theory.
Hmm.
That's what Jerry Spence told me. And when he told me that 20 some years ago, I was flabbergasted. Like, what is this guy talking about? You know, but then I realized I'm talking to one of the greatest trial lawyers of all time.
Hmm.
So that's one of the first things that you should start thinking about. And here's the really hard part. This is the really hard part. What I just told you goes for not only the social workers, the judges, the attorneys, it goes for the mother too.
Hmm.
Ooh, that one's
That's
rough.
the hardest part, James.
That's
That's the
rough.
hardest part.
Now, I'm telling you a strategy of how to get what you want.
Hmm.
Whether you do it or not, that's up to you, James.
Hmm.
I know what works. I've done thousands of these cases. You understand? You've just done one.
Nothing.
You've just done yours.
Not really.
So you can take what I say and use it, or you can be like the guy I spoke to today, just throw it out. And F Mr. Davis, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Right, Miss G? Mr. Davis doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, you know how I feel about that. I usually attack back when people say that to me. But the sad part is that they're so stupid. They're so dumb, and I'm saying that to whoever thinks like that and says those things to me, because you have no idea what this man knows. It took me years to even understand one strategy out of 10 he shared with me. So don't ever underestimate this man. God bless him, and I pray for him every day. Like I said, he might be drives me nuts as a boss, but he is one of the best attorneys I have ever met in my life. And believe me, I have met a few, and by far he's the best.
Okay, James, you're going to set something up with Miss G, and
Mhm.
I'll be talking to you tomorrow, okay?
Yes, we will. Thank you so much.
I want
James,
to thank
hey,
you for being on the show tonight. What'd you
Thank you
say?
for having me.
no, I was talking to James. James, I want you to text me after the show, please.
I will. Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome.
Good night, James. Okay. You know, Miss G, Cassandra, I say this to people all the time. And a lot of people, it just, goes over the head or it doesn't register. Cases, these CPS cases are won outside the courtroom. They're
Oh, I
won,
know.
they're won and lost outside the courtroom.
Hmm.
And, everybody's worried about what the law says. Everybody's worried about what the social worker's lying about. You know, yeah, all of those things are important, but they're not the most important. Not the most important. All right.
There's something I wanted to mention to everyone. I actually saw it the other night. Um, you don't have to do that, Vincent. You can take my face away from the screen. It's okay. I don't want to see myself like that.
No, I wanted to see your Christmas tree and your Christmas lights.
Unbelievable. I just finished saying good things about you. You want me to start just do you want what do you want? Won't even go there right now. Okay. Stop it. Take me out. Jesus Christ. Davis.
What's great about this part is I have control of the camera.
I hate you right now. Come on, seriously.
Okay.
Okay, come on.
Okay,
Okay,
what?
good. Thank
What?
you. Jesus, it's scaring me. Okay, so a judge ruled October 27, 2022 in LA County, Los Angeles County, a judge Thursday found that the sibling of a 4-year-old Palmdale boy whose 2019 death was originally reported as a drowning but later led to a criminal indictment of his parents. Now, the grandmother was reporting the parents for abusing the child. However, the social workers, failed to protect the child. She didn't want to help the child. So what happened was the child ended up dying. His name is Noah. So I told you guys before that social workers always favors the abuser all the time, always favors the abuser. This is a perfect example. Abusers, they didn't want to help the child. They focus on removing children from innocent parents. That's what people don't understand. They don't remove children from abusive parents. They remove children from innocent parents. Okay? So Noah was taken first to Palmdale Regional Medical Center and then the Children's Hospital, Los Angeles, where he was pronounced dead July 6, 2019. His death occurred after multiple reports of abuse had already been made to the county Department of Child and Family Services, according to the lawsuit. Instead of protecting Noah and his siblings, DCFS continued to place the child with their abusive parents, where the children continued to be abused over the course of several years. The suit alleges that after Noah's death, DCFS social workers made threats against Hernandez family in an attempt to silence her, the grandmother. The suit alleges that they told Hernandez that if she made any public statement about Noah's case and or potential lawsuit, she would lose her request for guardianship of her other 3 great grandchildren and would never see them again ever. And I can't say if she recorded or not. This part is confidential because there's a lawsuit. But all I can tell you is that the judge granted that lawsuit because I'm sure she heard way more than that. She saw way more than that. Because this is a perfect example, as I was saying, they keep the children with the abusive party at all times. And I know Mr. Davis might disagree with me, but that's what is happening because the abused ones are abused until death.
Miss
Even
G, Miss G, where were you reading from?
that came from City News,
Hmm.
LA County City News, and the
What date? What date? I want to look that up myself.
October 27, 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. And they mentioned the name of the judge, but I can't find it right now because.
Well, we're not mentioning any names, even if it's in the newspaper.
Oh, well, that's kind of That was dumb. Why?
Do we need to have?
Never mind. Let's not go there. Let's just have a peaceful show today. but this is a perfect example, like I said. And a lot of times, oftentimes, people in America say, well, if they took the kids from the parents, then there's something wrong with them, right? The parents are wrong. The parents are this. The parents are this. But it's not true. It's not true because a lot of parents are really innocent. Innocent. I'm not talking about just women, men and women. So that's why they are being judged, but yet they leave the abused kids with the abuser. And Cassandra and I saw numerous cases like that we read about. Numerous kids are being locked in their room with handcuffs, with like collars of a dog. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and they're killing their own children. And foster parents who are abusing the children are keeping the children. So you're taking children from parents, but yet you're keeping the children with the abusive family who drinks alcohol constantly, who have alcohol on the table when you walk in, who do drugs, who have records against them, and their foster parents. It makes absolutely no sense. But yet they'll take a child because the father, when he was 16, stole a pin from Staples, or something stupid like that. Like nobody can make mistakes. They have to be perfect. Like the social workers who go to clubs and put stars on their nipples while they're dancing and poses. So you're judging who again? But then again, like I mentioned, Title 4D funding. That's very important to the social workers. Title D4 funding is what they only get the funding when the children are placed in a non-family member home. Also, the social worker, of course, benefit from that. The foster parents benefit from that. In LA County, a foster parent can make up to $2,600 a month for one child. One child, tax free. Tax free. They don't pay taxes on that money. So, and they get benefits. They get clothing benefits, money for clothing, money for this, money for that. The parent can't even get that for their own child. But they will remove a child from a parent who just lost his or her job, who are homeless. That's bullshit right there. But they would rather put the child in a foster home to gain more money, more funding, more incentive. Social worker, people think they make $33,000 a year. Whoever told you that is an idiot. They didn't do the research. Social worker, just entities alone, make $92 billion a year. $92 billion a year. So don't ever be mistaken. Social workers make so much money, over 100,000, and from that money, the social worker gets incentive bonuses for the end of the year. Just like the police officers, they stand in a corner, monitoring everybody's driving whatever speed, usually around the 21st of the month, because they want to close with a lot, so they can make money from that. They have a goal they have to maintain. Same thing with the social workers. They make incentives. I love the police. Don't take me wrong. We need them. I need them. We need them. Okay? But I'm just giving you an example. Social workers make so much money a year just from bonuses. So, are they going to adopt a damaged child? No. If you're adopting a child, do you want to adopt a damaged child, really? Because I don't think if you want to adopt, you would not want to adopt a damaged child. So what do you want? What you want, a child who's not damaged. So what do they target? Newborns. They're not going to remember their family, their mom, ages 2, 3. So yes, they target families like that. Also, another foster parent, which is sad, she has over 7 or 8 disabled children fostering. Do you know how much they make for disabled children? And she has 8 in one home. That's too much. There's a max. But the social workers don't want to remove them because they have connection with that foster parent. So she has 8 special need kids. She makes over, like close to $3,000 a month for each child. She has 8. And there's a max. But they went over that. So, because that foster mother is the only foster mother that's willing to take care of disabled kids. But she's doing it for a reason. Because she makes more money. So what do? They also silence the good kids. They give them drugs to keep them silent. So they damage the kids who they take healthy from the parent to begin with. They're damaged. They're done. But then they start blaming the parent. Your mom didn't see you today because she didn't show up. Your mom failed to show up. That is not the truth. Social workers failed to give the mom and the dad and the siblings visitations because they keep canceling it. But what do they tell the child? Mom didn't want to show up. The child, next time he sees the mom, which is like usually a month from that date, the child is resenting the mom. The child is distant from the mom. The child stays in the corner. So the social worker writes, the one that's monitoring, mom and child do not bond. No, you depleted souls. It has nothing to do with the child. It has a lot to do with what you do to the child to get the child to that point. There is no bonding study between the mom and the child. They didn't even do that. which is also part of what they're supposed to be doing, is bonding study. I didn't know this until Davis, again, I learned a lot from him that I had no idea about before. So your court-appointed attorney is not going to enforce bonding study because he or she is stupid as hell and they don't give a shit about their clients. Why should they? They're going to make money from your case. They don't have to work. You think they're going to monitor them? Oh yeah, I talked to Mr. Hernandez. Yep. Sure. Everything's cool. Who is Mr. Hernandez going to cry out to? Nobody's going to listen to Mr. Hernandez because they're going to believe the attorney. They're going to believe the social worker. That's pretty much it. So when you have a private attorney that is willing to fight for your rights, right? He will bring that up. He or she knows what they need to do. So don't be fooled. Don't think you know it all. And don't ever call our office thinking you know what you're doing and you badmouth Mr. Davis to me. It's not going to work. Then why are you calling us to begin with? I had 3 calls like that today. I just literally hung up the phone on them. Because what am I going to say? What am I going to say that I haven't said already? Why are you calling our office, speaking to Miss G about Mr. Davis? Why? Why are you even calling for help? If he's such a bad attorney to you and he doesn't make sense to you, then why are you calling him? And I have people that continue to call, by the way. I end up ignoring them because it's useless to me. Either you need help, I'd be willing to help you. I go on and beyond my duties to help you. Ask James, ask Cassandra, ask anybody that dealt with me. But don't you ever badmouth a man that has an amazing heart helping everyone. So you guys can just go find another attorney and good luck and God bless you. That's all I have to say.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, Miss G.
Ridiculous.
But everybody has haters, right?
Yeah, but come on, Mr. Davis. I mean, it's not like I understand your strategy. It took me and you argue all the time about the strategy part. But it took me a lot of years to actually get it. You don't make it about the other parent. It doesn't exist. He or she doesn't exist. You have to make it only about the children. Who really matters the most? Exposing the other parent or actually having your children safe with you? So you have to be the bigger parent. Doesn't matter what he or she does. You just have to focus on the goal and get rid of this childish shit that everybody thinks about. I want to expose this. I want to expose this. Really, it's too late to expose at this point. It's too late. Just focus on the target.
All right. We're coming to the end of our show, Miss G. We're a couple minutes over. I do want to tell people I posted in the comments section my latest YouTube video. I think everybody should click on that link and watch that video. And do me a favor, everyone watching on YouTube, please subscribe and like to my channel. It helps me with the algorithm on YouTube and getting this station or this channel out there. All right, so we're going to be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And are we doing a guest or are we doing questions and answers?
You know what? I think we should do questions and answers because I had 2 people call today and asked if we can start doing that.
Okay. Miss Cassandra, do you know anybody that might want to watch or post questions tomorrow? If you do, tell them 7 p.m. Be there, be square. Also, we're going to have a free giveaway tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I had some giveaways over the weekend on Christmas Day. And, I was kind of surprised that a lot of people didn't take part in that. Tomorrow, when you log on, there's going to be a link to a form where you can log on and request the free giveaways that we did on Christmas Day. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss G. Thank you, Miss Cassandra. And we'll see everyone tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Good night, all.